Dr. Marco Tomasini, the Vice Chairman of the GeneralSecretary of Asia-Pacific Sports Federations, will talk to us about Sports for All.
Sport for All. Sport for All is something very important in Europe, but all over the world. And TOFISA, that I'm representing right now as board member, is one of the most important Sport for All entity inside the IOC. My presentation is based on the Sport for All and the idea of Sport for All as an international framework, and the idea besides Sport for All, and which are the Sport for All entities inside the IOC running the program of the Sport for All entities. I'm very happy that I have this opportunity, and I'm thank again GAAPSF and World Sports University. So, starting running my presentation, again I'm asking to the professor and to the amazing staff to run my presentation because my to use it. First slide should be and which are the main organization running the Sport for All and the multi-sport events. ASF, the International Sport Federation, is an international workers and amateurs in sport confederation, CSIT, International Military Sport Council, CIM, International Police Sport Union, USIP, International World Games Association, IWGA, International Committee of Mediterranean Games, CAJM, the International Federation of Physical Education, FIAE, the FISPT, International Sport for All Federation, FISA, of course, the Association for International Sport for All, and the Committee of the Children and Children's Games, the Commonwealth Games Federation, the International Master Games Association, and the World Transplant Games Federation. Those are the organizations recognized by the IOC, again, for multi-sports and sports for all entities. And that we compare in our presentation, and I'm passing to the third presentation of just the Sport for All entities inside this list. But how it's working the structure of the IOC and how it's based the IOC at structural level. The IOC has three classes of recognition and three main classes of partner. The first one is the NOC. The first one is National Olympic Committees. They are represented in each country, the National Olympic Committee, recognizing the national federation and recognizing the national governing body locally. At the same time, they are representing the IOC at national level, and they are the association, the National Association of Federation, taking care of the Olympic preparation and sending the national team to the Olympic Games, and of course, both winter and summer Olympic Games. There is a second big pillar with the OCOGS, that are the Olympic Committee Organizing Game Committee. They are taking care about the organizing stuff relating the winter and Olympic Games, winter or summer Olympic Games. At the moment, there are 4 OCOG working inside IOC, Paris 2024 Organizing Committee, Milano Cortina 2026, and I'm very proud that it's based in Italy, where I come from, in Milan. I'm living in Milan and I'm born in Milan, so we're very proud of the next Olympic City. LA 28 and the Brisbane 2032. Those are the 4 OCOG working inside the IOC at the moment. The third pillar, as you can see in slide number 3, are the international federations. International federation recognized the National Olympic Committee. There are also another one, that is ASAP, that are the organization recognized by the Olympic Committee. They are less famous, of course, but they are still in place and still recognized by the Olympic Committee. We're taking care of this sector at the moment because it's in this sector that Sport for All is recognized and is managed by the Olympic Committee and by the organization on behalf of the Olympic Committee. So the first organization that we are going to introduce is the FIEPS. FIEPS stands for Federation of the Fédération Internationale d'Éducation Physique et Sportive. It comes from Europe, of course, and it was founded in 1923. It's a very old and historical organization. This organization is recognized, of course, by the National Olympic Committee, and there's a strict relation between the university around Europe and the world, the Physical Education Institute, and, of course, the Ministry of the Education. This organization is running Sport for All program, which is the aim of FIEPS, promote development of activity for all, recreation and outdoors, for people of all the ages and countries, foster and contribute to the international cooperation in these fields, promote pedagogically and technically experience, scientific research and exchange of ideas, find best possible solution for the problem in these fields. I must say that they are not so active in terms of sport for all grassroots activities. They are more concentrating on research proposal. They are more concentrating on the side of research and the side of the scientific and technical contribution, but they are still in the field of the sport for all. The second main organization running inside the IOC Sport for All is an historical one, but at the moment not so again active under the physical point of view. I mean, with physical, they are dormant, let's say. Is the Fédération Internationale Sport pour Tous, who is based at the moment in Milano, Italy. The president is President Franco Ascani, who is the IOC commission member, not IOC member, for the heritage and cultural development. Which is the philosophy between this organization, who is the International Sport for All Federation? He's the open the barrier and using the FISPT to express freedom through multiple sports and multiple aspects of sports, friendship between people and communication, and individual and collective cultural enrichment. It's usually is running Sport for All events. This kind of organization is one of the 3 running multi-sports events on behalf and with the agreements of the IOC. We will see the other one in my presentation. FISPT, different from the other, as I said, is quite dormant at the moment and is not active. It not has been active in the last decade, but is still working and is still recognized by the IOC. There are different classes of membership inside the FISPT. There are international, national, and continental member. Franco Ascani, who is the president again, is also the president of the International Federation of the Cinema and Television. So they are strictly connected, these two federations, because they have the same president and they have the same, at least, part of the board. So we can say that even usually they are running Sport for All program in live, I mean in the grassroots activity with children and so on. Now they are more focused on the cultural heritage of the Sport for All. The aim, as I said, is to promote Sport for All and establish contact between the organization and person concerned. The federation is apolitically and are religious and no profit making. Federation has been deployed in the last 40 years. Fédération Internationale pour le Sport Portois was born in the 1982, so is a 40 years old organization. And it's a remarkable note that this organization is very active in the past, of course, in Europe. They have a continental association who is called UESPT, Union Européenne Sport Portois, who is a sport for all organization inside this umbrella, is a continental body taking care of the activity in Europe. The European Sport for All Federation, as I said, is a continental federation, and it was born in Strasbourg in 1982. And it was established by the FISPIT in order to push it more in Europe. Which is the aim? The aim is to collaborate within the European Commission. You know that in Europe, we have the European Commission, who is a facilitator in terms of health, welfare, sports, and international program in order to boost the activity in all the countries member of the European Commission. This is why the European Commission has created a Sport for All program, and UESPT Sport for All is one of the main partners in this program. In the next slide that you will see, the European Sport for All Federation is trying to connection also between the National Olympic Committee of Europe and creating a Sport for All network. Next slide, please. We will see that one of the main projects, thank you, is finding nationally and international partners for Sport for All project in Europe. This is something very important because in Europe, the European Commission, as I said, is fostering to have more countries pushing us in a project. So, in order to be evaluated in a better way, in order to have more funds or to apply to the national and international fund, sometimes we need to create a network. This is why they create USPT. In terms of citizen sports, engage and train volunteer sports for all the age, create the database of the volunteers available. They promote a network pro-social integration through the Sport for All. And of course, create multilateral and exchange. At the last point is that they are promoting and implement a symposium, seminars, congress. What is doing at the moment USPT is a main event every year in Milano. As I said, they are quite dormant. They are just doing two main activities per year, FISIPT and USIPT. The main event in Milano is a big Sport for All event with the School of Milano, where the school are able to combine themselves and to create a Milano Sport for All events. I hope that this organization will come back at more an international basis, helping IOC at the Sport for All level. This organization, in order to conclude, let's go to the next slide, is inside the IOC, Commission for Cultural and Olympic Education, is inside UNESCO, is inside UNICEF, is inside WHO, is inside the Olympic Academy, International Olympic Academy, is inside different universities and the World Olympians Association. So it's very strong under the point of view of connection. But we cannot say that sport for all without speaking about the FISA. The FISA, from my point of view, is the international association taking care of the sport for all on behalf of the IOC. Next slide, please. As you can see, the FISA is very strong, and this is the logos of the FISA. I am sure that you have seen the FISA logo in a lot of environment, in a lot of framework, and in a lot of opportunity around the world, because they are really present all over the world. How it's working, the FISA, which are the main mission and which are the main stakeholders of the FISA. First of all, we need to clarify that the FISA, thanks to the last General Assembly, has divided in 3 classes of members. The first class of members are the historical one, let's say, and they are the national association or national organization taking care of the sports for all inside the country. They are the majority of the members, of course, and at the moment they have 5 votes inside the General Assembly. 5 votes per member. In the last Congress, as I said, the FISA decided to open in a better way and in a stronger way his international presence all over the world. So they create 2 classes of members. The first one is supportive members. Supportive members are all the organizations at the national level that are involved in such a way in a sport for all. There can be a national federation of kickboxing, for example, that would like to run a sport for all program. There can be a university that would like to run a program relating sport for all. You know, every no-profit organization with a range that can be defined at national level is eligible to apply to the supportive member status inside the FISA. Inside the AGM, supportive member has the right to have 1 vote per member. The last class of members are the international members. The FISA has the international members from the last institution and changing of the bylaws and of the statutes in Tokyo. This is very important to understand that international members are the ones that are running sport for all programs in their own sports inside the FISA in cooperation with the FISA. We have, for example, a lot of partners as well and a lot of members as well of ISNO and GAAPSF. We have, for example, ISF, International Esports Federation, as member. We have International Dance Organization. We have a lot of amazing and big federations that are joining the FISA in the last decade. Why? Because sport for all and grassroots activity is something that we need and we need to deploy. This federation has 1 vote per organization. Passing to the next slide, I will introduce the recognition of the FISA. The FISA has a lot of supporters. First of all, the main support comes from the Federal Bureau of the German Sports Authority. The FISA is really pushed by the German authority and we need to thank them. Of course, it is pushed by the Deutschland Olympic Sportbund, who is the NOC of Germany. Another big supporter of the FISA is the Commerzbank. The FISA has an amazing headquarters in the center of Frankfurt, who is totally offered and paid by the Commerzbank. Another 2 supporters are made to play by Nike. Nike is pushing the FISA because Nike is investing in the sport for all. And of course, the last one is European Commission, one of the main partners of the FISA, main supporter thanks to the Erasmus+. Who are the partners of the FISA? The FISA is engaged all over the world. So it's recognized by the Olympic Committee, by UNESCO, and by the World Health Organization. Of course, it's also member and recognized and partner of the ICSSPE, who is at least recognized by the IOC, and is the International Council of Science and Physical Education. You can see there are a lot of other recognition. The remarkable one are the ENSO, who is the European Network of Non-Governmental Sports Organization. In poor words, the Union of the National Olympic Committee and Sports Ministry of Europe. This organization is sanctioned by the European Commission and endorsed by the European Commission, and is liable to fund all the activities around Europe relating to sports. So, as you can see, it's really connected organization, very strong, and connected also with the Olympic Cities organization. They are present in all the countries and they are present in all the continent. This is why in the FISA it's compulsory to have one board member from Oceania, one board member for Europe, one from Asia, one from Africa, and one from the Americas. It's amazing that it's such a big organization is respecting and giving the opportunity to each continent to have their own representative. Personally, I'm the representative for Europe. In the next slide, you will see the history of the FISA. Originally, it was just an individual personalities and international, movement relating conferences on the sport for all, on the fitness, on the idea to be fit. At that time, sport for all was like something unknown, so conferences were needed to let the people understand the idea of sport for all. I have just a few minutes left, so I will hurry up. My slides will be available thanks to Professor Ke and to GAAPS, so you can read easily the history of the FISA and how it has been deployed in the years, becoming one of the biggest organization inside the IOC. Remarkable is the next slide, that is the FISA Mission 2030. And you can see that the FISA is trying to push, fostering, and to implement a new vision relating the peace and the development and partnership, the gender equality, the education, the social inclusion, the play and physical literacy, the active cities, the environment and sustainability, the cultural heritage, the good governance and leadership, the economic impact, the health lifestyle, and the communities and voluntarism. Again, we have no time, but in the FISA website, you will find clicking in each of these buttons, which is the idea beside this mission. This mission is taken by the United Nations Sustainability Goal, and the United Nations Sustainability Goal must be deployed by each organization in the world because they are creating awareness. The same awareness is something that we need in order to achieve our main goal, sport for all, of course. In the next slide, you will see the main action of the FISA. The main action of the FISA are the flagship events. We can host an event on behalf of the FISA. There is the General Assembly, the Congress. At the moment, I am at the General Assembly and the Congress, of course. There is the World Sport for All Games, the FISA Regional Sport for All Games, and the FISA World Martial Arts Festival. There are also another class of area, that is the FISA Leadership Courses, the World Challenge Day, and the World Working Day, and the Erasmus Plus project. The last one are the traditional sport games and the active cities. Continuing in our presentation, just remarkable in the next slide is the TAFISA World Sport for All Games, with an amazing Sport for All event with over 50,000 participants coming from more than 100 countries all over the world, sanctioned by UNESCO and by the IOC. I wish you have the opportunity to come in one of these Sport for All events that will change, of course, your life and the way you think about the life. In the next slide, you have a picture of the TAFISA World Martial Arts Festival. And again, this is a massive and spectacular inspired event. And a remarkable idea is coming from the next slide, that is relating the World Challenge Day. The World Challenge Day is something relating, please next slide. The World Challenge Day is something relating the TAFISA way to conduct sport for all activity. An example is the World Walking Day. Every people around the world can register their own activities, walking for in their center and trying to walk the most they can in one day, registering in the website and giving his message all over the world that sport for all and social active people are the right way to be healthy and to create awareness in the world. Continuing in our overview of the Sport for All movement inside the IOC, we have the last organization taking care of the Sport for All. This is the CSIT. Next slide, please. CSIT is the Confédération Internationale Confédération Sportive Internationale Travailliste et Amateur, who is the international workers and amateurs in sports confederation. Next slide. It's an international sport organization, and it was established from the Social Worker Sports International Federation. It's a sport for all association, and it's working on a big main event that are the CSIT World Sports Games. CSIT must say that is not big and not famous like TAFISA, and is more concentrated in two main ideas. The first one, as I said, is the CSIT World Sports Games, and the second one is the CSIT Single Championship for each sport. They are more strong in Europe, of course. They are not like TAFISA present in all the continent. They are very strong in Europe, let's say, and they have some members around the world. Which is the aim? The aim and is to continue to foster the sport for all for the workers and for the labor coming from the grassroots activities and from the Workers and Amateur Sport Confederation of the history. The first confederation was founded in the 10th May 1930 in Ghent. Please, next slide. And it was an historic labor movement. CSIT has moved after in Lucerne, and again it has moved in Brussels in 1946. In 1973, CSIT became an associate member of the GAAPSF, and in 1986 take the IOC recognition for the sport for all, of course. Remarkable is that in 2013, they has been marked for the 100 years anniversary, and so the IOC make a lot of honors in Brussels because they reach a long path after the IOC. In the next slide, you will see the recognition and the cooperation partner of the CSIT. CSIT, of course, is recognized by the IOC, Guys on Sport Accord, ECSSPE, International Council of Sport and Physical Education, European Fair Play Movement, the International Sports and Cultural Association, the WADA. Of course, it's recognized by the FISA. FICE, Fédération Internationale Catholique Éducation Physique et Sportive, and the International Academy of Sports, Science and Technology, International Working Group of Women's Sports, and the Chiropractic Federation. They are recognized by the Panathlon International and, of course, by the ENCSO that we introduced before with TAFISA. Which is the spirit of SIT? Next slide. The spirit of SIT is to organize single championship, as we said, the international tournament, to have project on sport for all, and to organize international festival. Next slide is the last one for me. And which are the objectives of CSIT? Is to increase the importance in terms of the commercialization and lack of facilities or economic resources, and reducing sport to passive entertainment of the vast majority of people. So, fostering sport for all. As we can see, there are just two organizations that are really active inside the sport for all movement. TAFISA, organizing a lot of activity, and CSIT. There are another one that is FIEP, who is more on the research, and the FISPT, who is coming back to be active after a long period of inactivity. The other organizations are in the same framework of the sport for all organization recognized by the IOC game, but are not taking care of the sport for all activity. They are more concentrated, as we said, on the multi-sport organization side. So Commonwealth Games, organizing the Commonwealth Games, organizing the Master Games, organizing the Mediterranean Games. I hope that I give you a good overview of the institutional framework of the sport for all inside the IOC. And again, I'm really honored to be a part of GAAPS and World Sports University and to represent these two amazing institutions in Europe and now in TAFISA. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good conference.